You know that specific sinking realization when you notice your partner has suddenly developed a meticulous eye for interior design, but only when you're 3 states away. It wasn't the "I miss you" texts or the sudden interest in my day that tipped me off. It was a throw pillow, specifically the sagebrush, velvet Euro-sham on the left side of our master bed. I was sitting in a hotel room in Seattle, rain streaking the glass like prison bars, staring at my husband, Liam, on a FaceTime call. It was a Thursday night. I'd been gone for 2 weeks on a software implementation contract that was supposed to last 3. Liam was doing the supportive husband routine, asking about the rain, asking about the client, smiling that lopsided grin that used to make my knees weak, but now just looked pixelated and slightly delayed. "House is quiet without you, Stella," he said, leaning back against the headboard. "Honestly, don't rush back if the client needs more time. Make that money, right?" I smiled, the kind of customer service smile I'd been wearing for 12 hours straight. "Yeah, they might need me through next Friday. I'm exhausted, Lee." He shifted the phone, and that's when I saw it. The background. Our bed. Now, let me explain something about Liam. Liam is a man who thinks making the bed means pulling the duvet up to cover the sheets, leaving it lumpy and uneven. He does not understand the concept of decorative pillows. For 6 years of marriage, we've had a silent war where I arrange the 5 decorative pillows in a specific tiered formation, and he throws them on the floor at night and leaves them there until I rescue them. But in the background of that video call, the pillows were perfect. Actually, they were better than perfect. They were karate chopped. You know that thing interior designers do, where they punch the top of the pillow to give it that lived-in catalog look? The sagebrush sham had a perfect vertical indentation right in the center. "Liam," I interrupted him mid-sentence about his fantasy football league, "did you hire a cleaner?" He blinked, the lag making him look momentarily stroke-like. "What? No, why?" "The bed. The pillows look really nice. Did you make the bed?" He laughed, a nervous, dry sound. "Oh, that. Yeah, you know. Trying to keep the place nice for when you get back. Channeling my inner Stella." "You chopped the pillows?" What?" "The dent in the top of the pillow. You karate chopped it." He glanced behind him, the camera swiveling to give me a nauseating blur of the ceiling fan. "Babe, I don't know. I probably just leaned on it. You're overthinking. You look tired. Are you sleeping enough?" Gaslighting 101. Deflect and show concern for the accuser's mental state. "I'm fine," I said, my voice dropping an octave. "Just surprised you're sleeping in the bed. You usually take the couch when I'm gone so you can watch Red Zone until 2 a.m. "Back's been acting up," he said quickly. Too quickly. Need the mattress support. Liam's back was made of rubber. He did CrossFit. He deadlifted 300 pounds for fun. The only time his back acted up was when he wanted to get out of helping my dad move mulch. "Right," I said. "Well, I have an early meeting. Go to sleep." "Love you, Stella." Night. I hung up. The screen went black, reflecting my own face, tired, pale, and suddenly wide awake with adrenaline. I didn't go to sleep. I sat there in the dark, the glow of the Seattle skyline mocking me, and opened the Sentinel home security app on my phone. I'd installed the system 6 months ago, mostly for package thieves, but also because Liam had started having a lot of late inventory checks at the warehouse. We had 2 cameras, a doorbell cam and a driveway cam that covered the garage door. I didn't look at the live feed. I went straight to the playback history. If you're watching this video, tell me where you're from or what time it is for you. The hotel Wi-Fi in Seattle was garbage. I'm talking 1999 dial-up speeds masquerading as high-speed business internet. I tapped the timeline for Tuesday, 2 days ago. The little wheel spun and spun, buffering. My heart was hammering a frantic rhythm against my ribs. "Come on," I whispered, tapping the screen aggressively as if that would push the electrons faster. The image resolved. 1:47 p.m. Liam's black Jeep Wrangler pulled into the driveway. Normal. He sometimes came home for lunch. I scrolled forward. 1:52 p.m. A silver Mazda CX-5 pulled up to the curb. It didn't park in front of our house. It parked just slightly past the property line, in front of the neighbor's hedges, as if trying to be discreet while being a bright silver SUV in a desert suburb. The driver's side door opened. A woman got out. She was brunette, tall, wearing oversized sunglasses and a sundress that looked expensive, the kind of effortless outfit that actually costs $400. She didn't look at the house numbers. She didn't check her phone. She walked straight up our driveway with the confidence of someone who had a key. I watched, holding my breath, as she disappeared out of the frame toward the front door. I switched to the doorbell cam. The feed loaded, pixelated at first, then sharpening. She walked up the path. She didn't ring the bell. She didn't knock. She just stood there for a second, checking her reflection in the glass of the storm door, fixing her hair. Then the door opened from the inside. It was Liam. He was wearing his lucky gym shorts. He didn't say hello. He just reached out, grabbed her by the waist, and pulled her inside. The feed cut as the door slammed. I sat there, frozen. My entire life, 6 years of marriage, the house we bought, the dog we were talking about getting, imploded in 10 seconds of 1080p footage. I needed to save it. I needed to download it right now. I hit the export button. Download started. 0%? The bar didn't move. 1%? I stared at the Wi-Fi icon in the corner of my phone. 1 bar. No, 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 I hissed. Error. Download failed. Network connection unstable. Damn it. I scrambled off the bed, pacing toward the window, holding my phone up like Simba on Pride Rock, trying to find a better signal. I toggled Wi-Fi off, trying to use cellular data. 5G was spotting in and out. The hotel walls were basically lead bunkers. I tried again. Download started. The app froze. The screen went gray. Then the terrifying message, data corrupted. Please refresh the timeline. My stomach dropped into my shoes. The Sentinel app had a feature where it only cached high-res footage for 24 hours, unless you paid for the premium cloud storage, which I did. But the app was notoriously buggy when switching between connection types. If the file corrupted on the server side because of the failed download, I might lose the clear shot of her face. I was shaking, physically shaking. My hands were wet. I grabbed my laptop, fired it up, and frantically tried to tether it to my phone's hotspot. "Connect, you piece of junk," I muttered, typing my password with trembling fingers. Love Liam 2019. The irony made me want to vomit. Connected. I logged into the web portal for the security system. The timeline loaded. Monday, Tuesday. There it was, the gray bar indicating motion. I clicked play. It buffered. Then it played. Low resolution, but it was there. I didn't trust the download button anymore. I pulled out my iPad and physically recorded the screen of my laptop, filming the footage like a bootlegger in a movie theater. I recorded the arrival. I scrubbed forward. 4:00 p.m. Nothing. p.m. Nothing. 6:03 p.m. The front door opened. Liam walked her out. They didn't kiss on the porch. They were smart about the neighbors, but she trailed her hand down his bicep, squeezing it. He leaned into her touch, that dopey, infatuated smile on his face that he used to give me when I made lasagna. She walked to her car. He watched her go, standing in the doorway until the silver Mazda turned the corner. I stopped the recording on my iPad. I had it. It wasn't 4K, but it was proof. I looked at the time. It was 11:30 p.m. in Seattle, 12:30 a.m. in Phoenix. I wasn't going to sleep. I was going to war. I didn't tell Liam I was coming. I told him the client wanted me to stay the full 3 weeks, and his voice on the phone sounded so relieved it made my teeth ache. I caught the 6:00 a.m. Alaska Airlines flight out of SeaTac. I landed in Phoenix at 9:34 a.m., the dry desert heat hitting me like a blast furnace as I stepped out of the terminal. I didn't take an Uber home. I took an Uber to Maya's house. Maya lives 3 streets over. She's a former paralegal, currently a stay-at-home mom to twin toddlers, and she possesses the surveillance capabilities of the CIA and the righteous fury of a woman who watches too much true crime. I texted her from the runway, code red, Liam, silver Mazda. I'm coming to your place. When I dragged my carry-on up her driveway, she was already standing there, holding a violently large iced coffee and looking like she was ready to hide a body. I parked your Honda in my garage so he won't see it if he drives by, she said instead of hello. Get in here. We sat at her kitchen island surrounded by scattered Cheerios and sippy cups. I plugged my phone into her TV and played the footage. Maya watched it, her jaw tight. She didn't gasp. She just narrowed her eyes. Tuesday, she said. I saw that car. You did? I was walking the boys. Silver Mazda CX-5. I thought it was a DoorDash driver who got lost because she was sitting there for a while, just checking her makeup in the mirror before she went in. Did you see her face? Brunette, yoga fit, Lululemon leggings, the kind of woman who posts about manifesting her best life while wrecking someone else's. That's her, I said, feeling the nausea rise again. Daniela. I found her on his Instagram following list. Daniela from his gym. Maya pulled out a notepad. Okay, what's the play? Do we burn the house down? Legally, I can't advise that, but morally, I need to catch them, I said. In the act, I need him to see me seeing him. I need to blow up his little fantasy world so hard he never finds the pieces. He's at work now? I checked the app. Jeep left at 7:45 a.m. He's at the warehouse. And the mistress? I don't know. But if he thinks I'm gone for another week, he'll bring her back, Maya finished. He's getting sloppy. The pillows? Amateur hour. I'm going over there, I said, standing up. I'm going to wait. Maya looked at me, dead serious. Do you want a bat? I have a bat. No bat, just my phone, and maybe some of your wine. Take the bottle, she said. Text me every 10 minutes. If you go dark, I'm sending Graham over there with the leaf blower to cause a scene. At 10:53 a.m., I walked through the back gate of my own house. It felt illegal. I was sneaking through the side yard, dodging the prickly pear cactus I'd planted last spring, trying to keep my footsteps quiet on the gravel. I used my key on the back door, the one leading into the laundry room, and slipped inside. The house was silent. The air conditioning was humming, but the smell hit me instantly. It wasn't the smell of my house. My house smells like vanilla candles and citrus cleaner. This smell was floral, heavy, and musky. Like a department store, perfume counter exploded. It clung to the air. It was offensive. It was the smell of territory being marked. I walked into the kitchen. On the granite counter, right next to the coffee maker, was a bottle of Pinot Grigio, half empty. I stared at it. Liam hates white wine. He calls it headache juice. He drinks bourbon or craft beer. This was an $18 bottle of grocery store Pinot, and it wasn't corked. It was just sitting there, open, like it lived there. There were 2 wine glasses in the sink. One had a lipstick stain on the rim, a shade of coral I would never wear. I felt a surge of rage so pure it almost blinded me. It wasn't just the cheating, it was the disrespect, the casual invasion. She was drinking wine in my kitchen, using my glasses, breathing my air while I was working 14-hour days in Seattle to pay for the roof over their heads. I pulled out my phone and texted Maya. I'm inside. The eagle has landed. And the eagle is drinking Pinot. I moved through the living room. The throw pillows were still in their perfect karate-chopped formation. I resisted the urge to punch them. I checked the security panel. Disarmed. Of course, I needed a vantage point. If they came in through the garage, which they would, they'd enter through the laundry room/kitchen door. I went upstairs. The landing at the top of the stairs offered a view of the foyer and a partial view of the kitchen. But if I stayed back in the shadows of the hallway, they wouldn't see me until I wanted them to. I sat down on the floor, leaning against the wall outside the guest bedroom, and I waited. Waiting is the worst part. In movies, they cut to the action. In real life, you sit on your hardwood floor for 90 minutes, legs falling asleep, mind racing through every possible scenario. 11:30 a.m., nothing. 12:00 p.m. Nothing. 12:15 p.m. A delivery truck drove by. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard I thought it might crack a bone. I kept checking the app feeds. My battery was dropping, 60%, 58%. I thought about the last 6 years, the trips we took, the time his mom got sick and I drove her to chemotherapy every Tuesday for 3 months, the way he held my hand at my sister's wedding. Was any of it real? Or was I just a convenient placeholder? A roommate who paid half the mortgage and handled all the logistics. 12:34 p.m. The notification buzzed in my hand. Motion detected. Driveway cam. I looked at the screen. The black Jeep pulled in, and right behind it, trailing like a loyal puppy, was the silver Mazda. "Here we go," I whispered. My voice sounded foreign in the empty house. They parked. The garage door rumbled open, a sound I usually associated with relief. Daddy's home. Now sounding like the opening of a tomb. I stood up. My knees popped. I smoothed down my shirt. I wasn't wearing a power suit. I was wearing travel leggings and a denim jacket. I felt underdressed for the demolition of my marriage. I moved to the railing, staying low. The door from the garage to the kitchen opened. "So," I told him. Liam's voice boomed, echoing up the stairwell. "If you want the Q3 numbers, you come to me directly." He sounded boastful, arrogant. Then a woman's voice, lighter, breathy. "You're so bad. Did he freak out?" "Totally." They walked into the kitchen. I could hear the rustle of grocery bags. They were bringing in lunch. They were having a domestic little lunch date in my house. I peeked over the banister. They were standing by the island. Liam was unpacking takeout containers. Looks like Thai food. Daniela was leaning against the counter, right next to that damning bottle of Pinot. She was pretty. I'll give her that. In a generic Instagram filter kind of way. Fit, tan, long hair. She looked comfortable. She reached into the cabinet, my cabinet, and pulled out 2 fresh plates without even asking where they were. That small action hurt more than the sex would have. Sex is impulse. Knowing where the plates are is intimacy. Liam walked up behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist, nuzzling her neck. "God, you smell good," he mumbled. "Stop," she giggled, but she leaned back into him. "Let's eat first. I'm starving. That spin class killed me." "Cardio," Liam smirked. He smacked her on the butt, a loud, sharp sound that echoed in the high-ceilinged room. "Liam!" she laughed. I stepped back into the shadows. My hands were shaking, but my mind had gone icy cold. This was it, the point of no return. I looked at my watch. I gave them 10 seconds. 10 seconds to settle in. 10 seconds to think they were safe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I started walking down the stairs. I didn't stomp. I walked normally. The sound of footsteps on the wooden stairs is distinctive. Daniela heard it first. She was holding a forkful of pad thai. She froze. Her eyes darted to the ceiling, then to the staircase. She saw legs, then a torso, then me. She went pale. Not movie pale, medical shock pale. Her mouth dropped open, the fork hovering in midair. Liam was facing the other way, opening a beer. "What's wrong?" he asked, seeing her face. He turned around. The noise he made was a cross between a squeak and a gag. He actually choked on his own saliva. He dropped the beer bottle cap. It clattered on the floor, spinning loudly in the silence. "Stella?" he croaked. "Hi, honey," I said. My voice was calm, terrifyingly calm. "You're home early." He looked from me to Daniela, then back to me. His brain was misfiring. I could see the gears grinding, stripping teeth. You're in Seattle," he stammered. "I was," I said, reaching the bottom of the stairs. I walked into the kitchen. I didn't get too close. I stayed near the archway, blocking the exit to the rest of the house. "But I missed you, so I came back to surprise you." I looked at Daniela. She was wearing Lululemon leggings and a matching crop top. She looked about 26. "Hi," I said to her. "I'm Stella, the wife." Daniela blinked. She looked at Liam. "The wife?" "Yep," I said. "The one on the mortgage, the one in the wedding photos on the mantel in the living room. Did you miss those, or did he turn them face down?" Daniela set her plate down on the counter. Her hands were trembling. He said he was divorced." "Did he?" I looked at Liam. "Interesting tense usage, Liam. Was divorced or getting divorced?" "Stella, wait," Liam said, holding up his hands like I was pointing a gun at him. Let's take a breath. It isn't what?" I asked. "It isn't you eating pad thai with your mistress in my kitchen while I'm supposed to be earning the money to pay for that granite countertop you're leaning on?" "It's complicated," Liam pleaded. He was sweating now, profusely. We were just talking." "Talking," I repeated. "Is that what you call it when you smack her ass? I heard that from upstairs, by the way. Excellent acoustics in here." Daniela made a small noise of distress. She looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor vents. "I didn't know," she whispered. She looked at me, eyes wide. "I swear, he told me he's been single for 2 years. He said this was his house. He said the woman stuff was his sister's." "His sister?" I laughed, a sharp barking sound. "That's a new one. Usually it's the crazy ex who won't move out." "Sister is creative." "Deline," Liam snapped at her, "stop talking." "Daniela," I corrected him. "Her name is Daniela. I looked her up on your friends list." "You really should adjust your privacy settings, Liam." I turned to her. "Look, Daniela, you seem like a nice girl. You have great taste in leggings. But here is the reality check. This man is 40. He is married. He is currently unemployed in the moral department, and judging by the bank alerts I've been ignoring, he's been spending my money to buy you dinner." Her jaw dropped. You pay for everything?" "I'm the account manager. He's in sales, but he hasn't hit quota in 3 quarters. So yes, that Pinot Grigio, my paycheck." She looked at the wine bottle like it was poison. "Liam," she said, her voice shaking, "you told me you were a VP." "I am a VP," Liam shouted, his face turning red. Of the division." "Regional supervisor," I corrected. "Assistant to the VP?" Daniela grabbed her purse from the bar stool. "I'm leaving," she said. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea." "Deline, wait!" Liam lunged for her arm. "Don't touch her," I said. My voice snapped like a whip. Liam froze. "Let her go, Liam, before this gets actually violent." Daniela didn't look back. She scrambled for the garage door, her car keys jingling frantically. We heard the garage door opener whir, then the slam of a car door, then the screech of tires reversing out of the driveway, then silence. Just me, Liam, and the cooling pad thai. Liam turned to me. The panic was gone, replaced by a desperate, pathetic attempt at charm. He ran a hand through his hair. "Babe," he started. "Okay, that looked bad. But listen to me. She means nothing. It was a stupid fling. I was lonely. You're always gone." "Don't," I said. "Do not blame my work ethic for your lack of integrity." "I'm not. I'm just saying. We've been distant. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. But I love you. You're my wife." He took a step toward me. I held up a hand. "Stop. If you come one step closer, I call the police and tell them there's an intruder. Because right now, I don't recognize you." He stopped. "Stella, please, we can fix this. Marriage counseling. I'll do whatever." "Here is what you are going to do," I said. I felt remarkably steady. The adrenaline had leveled out into a cold, hard clarity. "You have until noon tomorrow to get your shit out of my house." "Your house?" he scoffed. "It's our house. Community property, Stella." "Actually," I smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. "My grandmother left this house to me, in her trust. Your name isn't on the deed. I checked with the lawyer before I flew down here." His face went slack. "I'm staying at Maya's tonight," I continued, "because I'm certainly not sleeping in that bed you defiled. By 12 p.m. tomorrow, I want you and your things gone. If you're not, I change the locks and put everything you own on the curb." "You can't do that," he sputtered. "I live here." "Watch me. You have 24 hours to find a buddy with a couch. Maybe Daniela has room?" "Oh, wait, she knows you're a liar now. Tough break." I grabbed my overnight bag from where I'd dropped it by the door. "Game over, Liam." I walked out the front door into the blinding Arizona sun and didn't look back. I slept at Maya's house in the guest room that smelled like lavender and baby powder. Well, slept is a strong word. I lay there listening to Graham snore through the wall and declining Liam's calls. He called 17 times. Then came the texts, the essay-length explanations, the "I'm sorries," the "you're ruining everything over one mistake." I didn't reply to a single one. Friday morning, the cavalry arrived. First was my sister, Penny. Penny is 35, works in pharmaceutical sales, and manages her life with the precision of a military operation. She pulled up in her Ford Explorer at 8:45 a.m., holding a venti coffee and a box of heavy-duty trash bags. She hugged me so hard my ribs cracked. "I will kill him," she whispered into my hair. "I will literally run him over with this Explorer." "Get in line," I said. 10 minutes later, my cousin Tara arrived. Tara is an English teacher who has been divorced twice and has zero patience for male nonsense. She brought U-Haul boxes and a crowbar. "Where is the weasel?" she asked, slamming her car door. "At work," I said. "He thinks he can smooth this over if he gives me space today. He texted me saying he's staying at a hotel tonight to let things cool down." "Cool down?" Tara laughed. "We're about to set his life on fire." At 9:15 a.m., a white van pulled up. It was Hector, the locksmith. He stepped out, tool belt jingling, took one look at me, Penny, and Tara standing in the driveway with our arms crossed and nodded sagely. "Changing locks?" he asked. "Divorce," I said. "Ah," Hector said. "The fresh start package. Deadbolts?" "The strongest ones you have." "I got you." We walked into the house. It was empty. Liam had taken some clothes. I noticed gaps in the closet, but 90% of his stuff was still there. He evidently didn't believe I was serious. He thought this was a bluff. He thought I was the same Stella who forgave him for forgetting anniversaries and spending too much on golf. He was wrong. "Okay," I said to my team. Phase 1, purge. Anything that belongs to him goes in a box. Anything that is ours goes in a box. Anything that is mine stays. Penny cracked her knuckles. "What do we do with the boxes?" I looked at the living room. I looked at the dent in the couch where he'd sat for 6 years while I built a career. "We don't just move them out," I said. A plan was forming in my mind. A petty, beautiful plan. "We're having a yard sale." Tara's eyes lit up. "You're kidding." "Nope. Ex-husband clearance event. Everything must go. 3 p.m., right when the neighbors get home." "You are diabolical," Maya said, walking in through the back door with a tray of muffins. "I love it." "Hector," I yelled toward the door, "change the back locks first. We have inventory to move." While Hector drilled into the front door deadbolt, creating a sound like a dentist's drill amplified by a megaphone, we went to work. Packing up 6 years of a life is weirdly therapeutic. It's like exfoliating, but for your soul. Penny took the master bedroom closet. I could hear her muttering insults as she tossed Liam's business casual shirts into a cardboard box. "Who owns 5 identical blue gingham shirts?" she yelled. "Is he a cartoon character?" "Just box it, Pen," I shouted back from the living room. I was tackling the man cave corner, a section of the living room Liam had claimed for his hobbies. This primarily consisted of his vinyl record collection, which he never listened to but liked to talk about, and his fantasy football trophies. I picked up the 2019 League Champion trophy. It was plastic, gold-painted, and tacky as hell. He was so proud of this thing. He'd polished it. "Tara," I called out. Tara appeared from the kitchen holding a blender. "Yeah? How much for the trophy?" She squinted at it. "Plastic gold? Emotional value of 0? I'd say $2. Perfect." I tossed it into the sale bin. Next came the vinyl. Dark Side of the Moon, Abbey Road, Rumors. The classics he bought to seem deep. I hesitated. I'm not a monster. I wasn't going to scratch them, but I also wasn't going to store them for him. I carefully placed them in a box. Then I took a Sharpie and wrote on the side in thick black letters, "Hipster Starter Pack. Make an offer." "Hey, Stella." Penny walked in holding a shoebox. Her face was grim. "Found this under the bed." I froze. "What is it?" "Receipts." He kept receipts. She handed me a crumpled piece of thermal paper. It was from a jewelry store in the Scottsdale Fashion Square, dated 3 weeks ago. Item, gold pendant necklace. Price, $450. I touched my neck. I wasn't wearing a gold pendant. I'd never received a gold pendant. "That cheap," I started, then stopped. "Actually, $450 is expensive for him. He got me a $30 gift card to Starbucks for my birthday." "He bought jewelry for her," Penny said, her voice tight. "With whose money?" "We'll find out," I said, crumpling the receipt and shoving it into my pocket. "Add it to the file. Right now, we purge." We worked for 4 hours straight. By 1 p.m., the house looked different. It wasn't empty, but the Liamness was gone. The ugly recliner was by the door. His protein powder containers were in a trash bag. His collection of funny shot glasses was in a box destined for the lawn. I stood in the center of the living room, sweating, dusty, and furious. But it was a clean fury. "Okay," I said. "Let's drag it out." The Arizona sun at 2 p.m. is not a joke. It's an assault. But we didn't care. We were fueled by caffeine and vengeance. We set up 3 folding tables on the front lawn, right near the sidewalk where the homeowners association would definitely find me. But I didn't care about that either. Tara had taken charge of the signage. She'd found some neon pink poster board in my office. She held it up. Too subtle? In giant black block letters, it read, "Cheating husband sale. Everything must go. Make him cry." "It's aggressive," I said, admiring it. "I love it. Hang it on the tree." We started arranging the merchandise. Liam's golf clubs, a Callaway set he'd bought 2 years ago for $200, went on the center table. I slapped a piece of masking tape on the bag. $50. "50, Maya asked, coming over from her house with a fresh pitcher of lemonade. "That's robbery." "He robbed me of my prime childbearing years," I said, arranging the clubs. $50 is a steal. I want them gone before he gets off work." We laid out the clothes, the gingham shirts, the lucky gym shorts. I touched those with 2 fingers, revolted. The shoes. "What about the Xbox?" Penny asked, holding the console. "Does it have his save data on it?" "Probably. Sell it, $20. Some kid is going to have the best day of his life." We stepped back to admire our work. It looked like a standard suburban yard sale, except for the signage and the palpable aura of rage radiating from the driveway. 3 p.m. I checked my watch. The neighborhood gossip network should be activating right about now. The first customer was Mr. Henderson from down the street. He's a retired accountant who walks his poodle at exactly 3:05 p.m. every day. He stopped at the edge of the lawn, the poodle sniffing at a box of Liam's tech magazines. He adjusted his glasses, reading the sign. He looked at me, then at the sign, then back at me. "Trouble in paradise, Stella?" he asked. "Paradise has been condemned, Mr. Henderson," I said, smiling brightly. "Liam decided to outsource his marital duties, so I'm outsourcing his inventory." "Ah." He nodded slowly. He didn't look shocked. He looked like he'd seen the silver Mazda, too. "Is that the espresso machine?" "Breville Barista Express," I said. "Retail $700. Yours for $40. "Does it work?" "Works better than my husband." He chuckled. "I'll take it." He Venmo'd me $40 on the spot. Once Mr. Henderson broke the seal, the floodgates opened. It's amazing how fast bad news travels in a cul-de-sac. Within 20 minutes, we had 6 people browsing. Mrs. Gable, the nosy neighbor from across the street who usually complains about my trash cans being out too late, was inspecting Liam's leather jacket. "Is this real leather?" she asked. "Genuine cowhide," I said, "just like the man who wore it." She bought it for her grandson. $15. Then came Barrett. Barrett lives next door. He's a nice guy. Divorced last year after his wife ran off with her personal trainer. He walked over, holding a beer, surveying the scene with a knowing grimace. "Rough day?" he asked. "Best day in a long time, Barrett," I said. "You need anything? Golf clubs? Vinyl? A half-used bottle of cologne that smells like desperation?" He picked up a mug from the table. It was the World's One Husband mug I'd given Liam for our first anniversary. Barrett turned it over in his hands. Irony is heavy. "It's yours for $1. "I'll give you 5, he said. "I'm going to use it to hold my paintbrushes. Feels appropriate to put dirty brushes in it." Sold. I pocketed the $5. "Hey," Barrett said, lowering his voice. "Just so you know, I saw that car here a few times. I thought—" I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to be that neighbor. "It's okay," I said. "I know now." "Good for you," he gestured to the yard. This is legendary." At 3:45 p.m., a beige Buick sedan screeched around the corner. "Contact," Penny muttered. "Bogey at 12 o'clock. It was Linda, my mother-in-law. Liam must have called her. He probably crying to her right now, hiding in a bathroom stall at work. Linda parked illegally in front of the hydrant and stormed up the driveway. Linda is a woman who believes appearance is everything. She wears pearls to the grocery store. Seeing her son's underwear for sale on a folding table was probably causing her physical pain. "Stella!" she shrieked. "What on earth are you doing?" The browsing neighbors went quiet. Mr. Henderson pretended to inspect a toaster. "Hi, Linda," I said, leaning against the table with the golf clubs. "Welcome to the sale. Family discount is 100% off, but since you're taking Liam's side, I'm charging you double." "This is mortifying." She gestured wildly at the neon sign. "Take that down immediately. The whole neighborhood can see." "That's the point, Linda. It's marketing. You are airing private family matters in the street. Have you no shame?" I laughed. It bubbled up out of me, harsh and loud. "Me? I should have shame? Linda, your son brought a woman into my house. He slept with her in my bed. He drank my wine. And you want me to be ashamed?" "He made a mistake," Linda hissed, stepping closer, lowering her voice. "Men make mistakes. You don't destroy a marriage over one indiscretion. You handle it privately, with dignity. Dignity is for people who don't bring their side piece to their wife's house," I said, my voice rising. I wanted the neighbors to hear. "I tried dignity for 6 years, Linda. I worked, I cooked, I cleaned. I visited you every Sunday. And what did I get? I got a husband who spends my paycheck on jewelry for a yoga instructor." Linda flinched. He bought jewelry?" "Yep, $450. You want to see the receipt? It's in the pile." "Stella, please, just go inside. We can talk about this." "No," I said hard. "We are done talking. Liam has until tomorrow to collect whatever trash is left over. Anything I don't sell today goes to Goodwill tomorrow morning. If you want his high school yearbook, you better buy it now. It's 50 cents. She stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. She looked around at the neighbors. Barrett was watching openly, sipping his beer. She realized she had no power here. She turned on her heel and marched back to her Buick. "I'll tell him you're hysterical," she yelled over her shoulder. "Tell him I'm profitable," I yelled back. "I've made $200. The sun was starting to dip lower, casting long shadows across the lawn. The crowd had thinned out, but we still had a few stragglers. At 4:30 p.m., a sleek black Audi A6 rolled slowly down the street. I recognized the license plate, SLS MGR. It was Marcus, Liam's boss, the regional VP of sales. The guy Liam was constantly trying to impress. Marcus wasn't coming to the sale. He lived in the expensive gated community 2 miles over, but this was the shortcut to the highway. He slowed down as he passed the house, probably confused by the neon pink sign. He stopped the car. The window rolled down. Marcus, a guy with silver hair and a permanent tan, leaned out, squinting. He read the sign, "Cheating Husband Sale." Then he saw me. Then he saw the table full of Liam's regional sales award plaques that I had stacked like coasters. I waved, a big, cheerful, manic wave. "Hi, Marcus," I yelled. "Everything must go, even the Salesman of the Year plaque. It's going for $3. Marcus's eyes went wide. He looked at the plaque, then at me, then at the neighbors. He put the car in gear. He didn't wave back. He just accelerated. The Audi sped off, the engine whining as he fled the scene of his employee's social execution. "Oh my God," Maya cackled, clutching her stomach. "You just ended his career." "He ended it himself," I said, watching the Audi disappear. "I just wrote the press release." By 6 p.m., we packed up. We'd sold about 40% of the stuff. The rest went into the garage for the Goodwill run. We made $412. I ordered pizza for everyone. We sat in the living room, exhausted. But as the adrenaline faded, a colder, darker feeling settled in. "The jewelry receipt," I said to Penny. "Give it to me." She handed it over. "I need to check the accounts," I said. "I've been afraid to look, but I need to know." I opened my laptop. I logged into our joint Wells Fargo savings account. This was the account we used for house repairs. We'd been saving for a new roof for 2 years. We contributed $500 each, every month. It should have had about $16,000 in it. I clicked View Balance. $2,103.42. I blinked. I refreshed the page. $2,103.42. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." "What?" Penny asked, leaning over my shoulder. "He drained it. It's gone. There's $14,000 missing." "Where did it go?" Tara asked. I clicked on transaction history. It wasn't one big withdrawal. It was a death by 1,000 cuts. Dominic's Steakhouse, $412, the Phoenician Resort, $680 Lululemon, $198 Lululemon, $98 Ticketmaster, concert, $450 Airbnb, Sedona, $800 the list went on, for months, while I was in Seattle, while I was in Denver, while I was working late. He was living a bachelor billionaire lifestyle on a roof repair budget. "He spent the roof money," I said, my voice trembling. "He spent the roof money on her." I felt the tears then. Not for him, for the money. For the hours I spent in client meetings, nodding and smiling, earning that cash, only for him to blow it on steak and leggings for a stranger. "Okay," I said, wiping my eyes aggressively. "No more crying. This isn't a divorce anymore. This is a robbery." "I know a lawyer," Maya said quietly. "Her name is Rachel. She's not nice. She's a shark." "You need a shark." "Call her," I said. "Call her now." Rachel's office was not in a strip mall. It was in a glass tower in downtown Phoenix. The carpet was thick enough to sleep on. I sat across from her on Monday morning. Rachel was about 50, wearing a suit that cost more than my car, with hair so sharp it could cut glass. She listened to my story without interrupting. She looked at the screenshots of the texts, the video of the pillows, the bank statements. When I finished, she smiled. It was terrifying. "This is fun," she said. "Fun?" I asked. "I'm broke and my husband is an idiot." "He's an idiot who documented his own fraud," Rachel corrected. "In Arizona, we call this waste of marital assets. It's the golden goose of divorce court." She pulled out a yellow legal pad. "Here's the strategy. We aren't just filing for dissolution. We are filing for breach of fiduciary duty." "Is that a thing in marriage?" "It is when he spends joint funds on an affair. We are going to claim full reimbursement of the $14,000. We are going to ask for legal fees, and..." She tapped her pen. "We are going to ask for spousal support." "I make more than him," I said. "He's going to ask me for support." "Ah," Rachel grinned. "But you're a contractor, right? Your income fluctuates?" "Yeah, I had a dry spell last year." "Perfect. We use a 3-year average, and we argue that his waste has put you in financial distress, which it has because he stole your roof. We ask for temporary support to maintain the status quo while the assets are divided." "Can we do that?" "Stella, we can do whatever we want. He doesn't have a lawyer yet. By the time he gets one, we'll have the narrative set. We're going to bury him in paperwork. He's going to wish he'd just slept on the couch." She slid a retainer agreement across the desk. "Sign here, and stop talking to him. All communication goes through me. If he texts you, you forward it to me. If he shows up at the house, you call the police." I signed. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. I was in the kitchen, eating cereal for dinner, because I didn't have the energy to cook. The doorbell rang. I checked the app. It was Linda again, but this time she wasn't storming. She was standing there looking small and old. I debated ignoring her, but Rachel had said, "Don't let him in." She didn't say anything about his mother, and I had things I needed to say. I opened the door, leaving the security screen locked. "Hello, Linda." "Stella," she said. Her voice was trembling. "Can I come in? Just for a minute?" "No. You can say whatever you need to say from the porch." "He's devastated," she said. "He's at my house. He hasn't eaten. He's crying all the time." "He's crying because he got caught, Linda, not because he's sorry." "He loves you," she pleaded. "Your family. Family forgives. Remember when I forgave your father for getting drunk at the wedding?" "My father," I said, "drank too much champagne. He didn't embezzle $14,000 and sleep with a bridesmaid." "It's just money," she snapped, the mask slipping. "You can make more money. You're so career-focused. Maybe if you'd been home more, he wouldn't have strayed." There it was, the sentence I'd been waiting for, the sentence she'd been hinting at for 6 years. I unlocked the screen door. I pushed it open. I stepped out onto the porch so I was nose to nose with her. "Let's clarify something, Linda. I work because your son doesn't make enough money to support the lifestyle he wants. I work to pay for this house, which I own. I work to pay for the car he drives. That's not..." I wasn't absent. I was providing. And while I was providing, your son was playing house with a 20-year-old using my savings. So don't you dare come here and talk to me about family values. Your son is a thief, and you're an enabler. "Stella, get off my porch, Linda, and don't come back. If you do, I'll have you trespassed. Go take care of your son. He's your problem now." I stepped back inside and slammed the heavy wooden door. I locked the deadbolt. I listened. I heard her sob once, then footsteps, then the car engine. I leaned my forehead against the cool wood of the door. I didn't cry. I felt lighter, lighter than I had in years. The hearing was 3 weeks later. The Maricopa County Courthouse smells like floor wax and anxiety. I wore my best suit, the navy blue one I wear when I need to fire a vendor. Rachel was beside me, looking like a shark in Yves Saint Laurent. Liam was there. He looked terrible. He'd lost weight. His suit was wrinkled. He had a lawyer with him, a guy named Steve who looked like he operated out of a mall kiosk. We were before Judge Henderson. Judge Henderson was a terrifying woman with reading glasses on a chain and zero tolerance for nonsense. "Okay," Judge Henderson said, looking at the file. "We have a petition for dissolution and a claim for asset dissipation. Mr. Lawson, your response?" Steve, the strip mall lawyer, stood up. "Your Honor, my client admits to the friendship, but denies the financial waste. The expenses cited were business-related, networking." Rachel didn't even stand up. She just slid a binder across the table. "Exhibit A, Your Honor, itemized list of expenses." Judge Henderson opened the binder. She adjusted her glasses. "Mr. Lawson," the judge said, looking down at Liam, "you spent $412 at Dominic's Steakhouse on a Tuesday." Yes, Your Honor, Liam squeaked. Client dinner. The receipt shows 2 entrees, 1 filet mignon, 1 sea bass, and a bottle of Pinot Grigio. Yes. Who was the client? A prospect. For industrial pumps. Does this prospect usually order a chocolate lava cake for 2? The judge raised an eyebrow. Liam turned red. We shared dessert. And the Lululemon charges? The judge flipped the page. Do you often buy yoga pants for industrial pump clients? That was gifts for the client's wife. Liam, I whispered, stop. It was painful to watch. Judge Henderson closed the binder. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Mr. Lawson, do not insult my intelligence. This is not a business expense. This is a date. You spent marital funds on a paramour. In my courtroom, that is theft. She turned to Rachel. What are you asking for? Full reimbursement of the $14,200, plus legal fees of $5,000, plus temporary spousal support of $2,500 a month for 12 months to allow Ms. Stella to replenish the savings he depleted. Granted, Judge Henderson said. She banged the gavel. Wait, Liam shouted. I can't afford that. I don't have that kind of money. Then you shouldn't have ordered the sea bass, Judge Henderson said. Next case. Walking out of the courthouse, I felt like I was floating. Did that just happen? I asked Rachel. Total victory, Rachel said, checking her phone. We got everything. He's going to be garnishing wages for the next 2 years. Enjoy the check, honey. She got into her Mercedes and drove off. I walked to my car. My phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. Usually I ignore them, but today I felt invincible. Hello? Stella? A small voice. It's Daniela. I stopped, keys in hand. Hello, Daniela. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. Again. Okay. And I wanted to tell you, he called me, just now, from the courthouse. Did he? He told me the judge was crazy. He said you lied. He said he won, but he has to pay a small fine. I laughed. He has to pay me $32,000, Daniela. There was a long silence on the other end. 32,000? Yep. Reimbursement for all those dinners you ate. And the necklace. Did you like the necklace, by the way? I gave it back to him, she said quietly. I dumped him, Stella, last week, when I found out he was still texting other girls on Tinder. Of course he was, I said. He's consistent. I wanted you to know. You were right. About everything. Thanks, Daniela. Good luck. You too. I hung up. I looked at the phone. Then I blocked the number. Then I blocked Liam's number. Then I blocked Linda's number. I got in my car. I didn't drive home immediately. I drove to the shelter. Update. 3 months later. The roofers finished yesterday. The new shingles are a dark charcoal gray. They look amazing. And the best part? I paid for them with the first installment of Liam's settlement check. I'm sitting on my new couch, also gray, no dent in it, drinking coffee from a mug that does not say "World's Best" anything on it. The house is quiet, but it's not empty. Harley, get down, I say gently. Harley, my 3-year-old golden retriever rescue, ignores me completely and rests his head on my knee. He sighs, a long, content sound. I found him the day of the court hearing. He needed a home. I needed something loyal. We're a good match. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Marcus, Liam's old boss. Hey, Stella, hope you're well. Just wanted to let you know, we let Liam go last week. Performance issues. Also, I'm looking for a new account manager for the West Coast division. Interested? I smile. Liam is unemployed. He owes me $28,000 more. He's single. He's living with his mother. I type back, send me the offer letter, Marcus. My rate just went up. I put the phone down. I look around my living room. The throw pillows are arranged exactly how I like them. Karate chopped, symmetrical, perfect. And nobody is going to mess them up. I take a sip of coffee. It tastes like victory. If this story resonated with you, leave a like and consider subscribing. You can also drop any comment below, even just one word. Maybe tell me where you're watching from, or what time it is right now. Sometimes one word is enough to say you were here,